Treasure Coast Connector, connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. Treasure Coast Connector is the talk show and online community where we put a spotlight on interesting local businesses and resources, then connect them to you, the consumers in the community. Everyone has an interesting story of why they do what they do. When we learn about what's happening in our own backyard and support local businesses, it strengthens our local economy. For details on the show, links to discounts, promos, past interviews, check out www.tcconnector.com. I'm wondering how many people that are listening to and watching this broadcast have a book in their head that they would love to get published. Joining me in the studio today is an enterprising young lady who has achieved this coveted goal at the tender age of 21. Olivia Poste, her first book titled Almost. She is an indie author, and she is here to talk about her book and the other books that she has in store. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I am really happy to have you here. I learned about you through Nancy McCurry, right? Mm-hmm. And this is on social media, and you were talking about your new book, and she was like, oh, yeah, you gotta,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, it led to you sitting in front of me because I've interviewed a lot of authors on the Treasure Coast. You are the youngest one at 21, okay?
Yeah.
So for people that are saying, yeah, I don't know, just stop and just start writing. Just shut up and start writing, right?
Yes,
Isn't that your advice?
Yep.
Shut up, start writing.
No excuses.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So now what made you want to become an author?
I've always done, poems and short stories and stuff like that. Since I was a teenager, high school, it was always fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
I never went for the full book, and I never thought that I could do the book. There's so much that goes into it with the publishing and the graphic design for the covers, and there's not much information out there on how to do it yourself. But, the past of writing and the poems and stuff, I've always loved to immerse myself in that fantasy land, and that's basically just what I did with this book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is wonderful. Okay, so now without giving too much away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm sitting here, I'm like wiggling in my seat because I walk into the studio. I read your book yesterday, and I didn't think I was going to get through the whole book. Oh my gosh, I couldn't put it down.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
And you even told me that, like, the ending, it's going to be
ending.
like... Oh, and in my email to you this morning, the ending.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, don't want to give too much away, but just start telling us a little bit about Lane, the main character.
So Elaine, Lane is her nickname. She's a college nursing student, and she's really, really focused on her career. She wants to be a nurse. She doesn't let anything faze her. She's not the romantic type. She's just, I want my career, and that's it. And then she finds herself meeting Jace, and everything from there just falls apart. She deals with her mental health struggles, and she deals with substance abuse struggles, and then she meets another guy, and then she's caught in this love triangle. And the love triangle is the biggest part. That she goes back and forth, and she just I feel like she loses herself towards the middle of the book and trying to find her way back to who she is and her career. It's just a lot for her to go through.
It was a lot. So I'm like mid-50s. So I've gone through all of this. So as I'm reading this is meant for the late teens to 20-somethings for this book. But I'm telling you, it is entertaining at all levels because as a 55-year-old, as I'm reading it, I'm thinking about myself, and it made me think back to what I was like in my 20s. And I wanted to, as a mother, I wanted to smack the boys. And there's another boy in there too, Diego.
Evan. Oh, Diego
Evan.
too.
That's in the beginning. You know what? You're just going to have to buy the book, people. I'm telling you. And so there were some lighthearted moments too.
Yeah.
You know, there were some fun moments, and the relationship between her and Sasha, her roommate.
Yes, Sasha, we love her.
Oh my gosh, and the dog. So there were some really fun moments. There were some flirty moments.
There were,
You know,
yeah.
it's definitely not like a hardcore book, but there was some.
It's a little bit of spice.
Sexy, a
Yeah.
little spicy. All right, spicy. It wasn't like overt hardcore. I want to just
No.
get that out there. But it was like, young lady, okay?
Yeah.
She was having some fun.
She was. She
Yeah.
does, definitely. And those dogs are actually my personal dogs.
Oh,
I
okay.
couldn't find another name
Okay.
to base them off of, so Hyra and Arlo are my rescue pups.
Okay.
And I just, since I'm such an animal lover, I had to
Yeah.
include them.
Yeah.
And they really help her to, you know, find something to do when she goes through those hard times, because she doesn't even want to get out of bed some of these days. And
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
hard. So having those animal companions is, it's great. I love mine too.
Oh my gosh. So I actually see, and I mentioned this before, the show is creating a Facebook group, all right, with the book title, so that people can share what they love about the book, and definitely
Yeah.
put spoiler alerts at the
Yes.
top of the post. But then it can be a community where people can share how they've dealt with their own issues and angst and anxiety and whatever. So
Yeah, that's a great idea. A lot of this stuff is kind of labeled as taboo, you know, with the mental health and substance abuse and all the kind of stuff that she goes
Yeah.
through. There's not much light shed on it, and I really wanted to change that and talk about these raw, hard subjects, and maybe help somebody that's gone through it. I've gone through it. That's how I've
Yeah.
turned Elaine into it, and I just want to help everyone with that, because it's important.
yeah, no, that is true. So now, okay, yeah, I was just gonna say with the substance abuse, it's not super dark like either with like the alcohol. Like
No.
she had a little bit too
She
much
had a
to
little
drink
bit too much.
on occasion, but she transcended.
She does.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's a good girl.
She is.
This girl, she's smart too.
She is.
So, all right, without giving too much away, what was your favorite part of the book? Okay, favorite part and favorite part to write. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Favorite part to write would have to be her and Jace's relationship.
Yeah.
Any part of that, I loved doing that. I loved their relationship. A lot of the things, like, for example, not to give too much away, but, you know, when they meet for the first time and when they meet again for the first time later,
Yeah,
those
they're
are based off of
reconnecting.
real stories
Oh,
that I've
wow.
gone through. Yeah. So
Okay.
I loved going back into that mindset and just into that time of my life and letting her experience it. And favorite part of the book is her character growth.
Yeah.
Her, you know, how she goes through so much, and her resilience is really my favorite part about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
I mean, again, as a woman who would have kids of that age,
Yeah.
you know, I wanted to just hug him and I wanted to smack him.
Yeah.
Jace, I'm talking about Jace right now.
Yeah.
And there was Evan in the oh boy, does he need a good
He does.
spanking.
He does.
Just what do you want to say about Evan?
You know, Evan, I don't even know what to say about him. He's just such a character, and
Yeah.
he's so charming, but so manipulative, and he just gives her such a run for her money.
Yeah.
And I'm Team Jace, personally.
Me too. Me too. And then and again, gosh, that ending. There and again, I'm not going to give anything away,
No
but
spoilers.
there's a wake up moment, and I won't explain what the wake up moment is towards the ending, but I was like, oh my gosh, and my husband wanted to come and just say goodnight, and I
Yeah.
was at the last page, and I'm telling you, that poor man, I was like, stop, put my hand up, I'm like, stop. Just give me 30 seconds.
Just gotta finish it.
Yeah,
Just gotta go.
last page. And he
Yeah.
knew exactly what I meant because I was in the sitting room and he was watching the movie. So he just like walked away.
Yeah.
And so then he asked me, he goes, was the book good? And I'm like, oh my gosh, was the book good? Yeah. Okay. So I see, I'm like so carried away. I have questions to ask Olivia and I don't even know what to ask next. But you know what? We're going to take a break a minute early so that I don't have to worry about getting interrupted because Cindy will interrupt me to take a commercial break. But
Okay.
you know what? If you want to know more about this book, Just stick around. We'll be right back.
For those tired of staring at laundry as it piles up, the answer is usually putting it off as long as possible. For most, there's not just another minute to squeeze into a day to get the laundry done. Sunshine Laundries can help. This is Tom Rhodes, owner of Sunshine Laundries, with a reminder that 5 of our locations offer drop-off service. We'll wash, dry, and fold. For locations and hours, we're at sunshinelaundries.com, and with laundromats all along the Treasure Coast.
Blue Dolphin Pools strives to provide quality service with a well-trained staff in the field and in the office. They want you to know that your pool or spa investment means much more to them than just another account. They believe you have entrusted them with your investment, and they'll do their best to see that it stays in top condition. Blue Dolphin Pool has been in business over 35 years, setting them apart from the competition. Residential or commercial, Blue Dolphin will keep you in the swim. 567-5853.
Is owning a home your goal? With the rising cost of rent, you could be saving a lot of money by owning your own home. At Caliber Home Loans, we can help make home ownership a reality. Meet with us for a free consultation and get on the right path to buy the home of your dreams. For Caliber, home loans is all we do. We use local appraisers and offer a variety of loan options to fit your lifestyle and budget. Call us today, 844-GO-CALIBER, license number CHL15622, Caliber Home Loans, TreasureCoast.com.
Who's got time to clean when you need it clean? Call Germ Wizards LLC using the most up-to-date equipment. Germ Wizards pays strict attention to detail. They make dust disappear. Whether you need your office to sparkle, your home to shine, or you want to give someone a great gift, hire the Germ Wizards. It's easy to get a quote online. There's even an online portal. To discuss details directly with your cleaning professional, visit germwizardsllc.com. Make dust disappear with Germ Wizards.
Welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras, and I've been chatting with Olivia Poste. She has written her first book, one of many. I know this because I'm going to make her keep writing more because I love the first one almost. We're diving back into the conversation about the book, but I'm getting carried away because I really had a lot of fun reading it. I just got lost into, and it was so enjoyable. But we are all about supporting small business, local business here, like within this, studio and within Treasure Coast Connector. So you have local businesses supporting you by carrying the book. Tell me, where can people, because you know what? Yes, you can go online, you can go to Amazon, you can go to Barnes & Noble. Those are great because there are people that watch this show. I have fans in Paris, France. I mean, I get fan letters. I don't actually, but if I did, they would come from all over the world, right? So they can go on Amazon. But for the people that live here in Vero Beach and Sebastian, Indian River County, where can they find your book?
So we have a couple of local businesses carrying it. Bellini Hair Studios here in Vero is carrying a couple copies. Big John's Feed and Western Wear in Fort Pierce is carrying a few too. And then we have Cafe Latte Da, Sebastian.
Lisa.
Yes, she's so sweet. And also Bubble House. The Vera location has them right now, and then as of this week, we'll have some in the Sebastian location as well.
Very good. And so I'm going to use my seat to publicly tell Vero Beach Book Center, because I've already tagged you, they're going to have to carry it. Actually, all kidding aside, you're already in conversation with them.
Yes, I've talked to them, and I've reached out about carrying it there too, and maybe doing some book signings too in the future.
Oh my gosh, we're going to get into that in a moment, okay? So let me just make sure, because I'm all ahead of myself here. You know what I'd like for you to do while we still have a good amount of time is read an excerpt of your book, please. Yeah.
So we're going to go into chapter 2, and this is a pretty significant part of the book.
Yeah.
So we'll jump right into
Jace.
Jace, yes. Yeah. This is her first time meeting Jace. So we immediately locked our eyes, and neither broke the stare. I think I looked away first. He had me so flustered, I nearly forgot to speak. He was very tall, towering over me. My head was level with his chest. I had to look up for my eyes to meet his. He was wearing a light blue shirt that almost matched the color of my nails, but slightly more pale. His hair was dark black, tucked up under a navy blue hat, with what looked like a cherry emoji on the front of it. His eyes were dark too, brown but not the kind that turns gold in the light like mine, the type that is dark like a doe would have. He seemed kind but broken. My soul seemed to know his instantly. From the second I looked at him, I had an ache in my chest like it was yearning for his. I felt I had known him 1,000 lifetimes, and perhaps I had. I think he felt it too. Right away, I learned his eyes spoke. It was clear that there was a spark. I use spark lightly because I've never felt this way towards any person I had ever met before. I knew he was going to be special. I could feel it.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh. So so throughout the book, you are describing the way that you describe all of the fun and trouble and, turmoil.
Yes.
You have a really good way of describing those things,
Thank you.
but also weaving the story to where I'm like, what could possibly happen next?
Yes.
And that is what a good book is all about. Okay. So now, again, so this is not one and done, right?
No.
So
No.
you're going to write other books. Okay.
Yeah. So
Because you know what's going to happen? People are going to read it and they're going to
want more.
demand
Yeah.
based on how it ends. I'm just
Yes.
saying it's like a cliffhanger.
it is. And the ending, the way I wanted it to end was to leave the reader,
Yeah.
his imagination, you guys kind of decide what you think
Yeah.
it should end or what you want it to turn
I was
into.
yelling at you, by the way. I'm just saying, in my
Yeah.
sitting room, my cat, Mr. Skitters, is sitting there going, "Who
What
are
the
you?"
heck?
Yeah.
Yeah. And but it also ends in a way that I can easily continue a sequel, and I do have a plot title idea for a part 2. So keep an eye out for that, because there is that potential idea coming. I wanted to get this
Yeah.
one going first, and then we'll see. And I also really want to write a kids book.
Okay.
My son's obsessed with dinosaurs, and I would love to have some sort of adventure kids book with him and his puppy. Arlo is one of our dogs. I feel like they would make a good little story, because their relationship's so funny.
They could travel back in time, your son
could,
and
yeah,
Arlo.
and the dog.
I'm just going to give her ideas.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what to write.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. But that's a really good idea,
Yeah.
actually. Mhm.
So that, and then maybe there could be even more in the series for the Almost series. There's so many different ways that this book could go. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to keep it going.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, again, as we get older, and Cindy was correct during the break, the show producer, is that this transcends all generations.
Yeah.
And it's a fun book to read at the beach, on vacation. It's not like the great American novel that you're just trying to get through. It's just a relaxation. I want to drink a margarita. I didn't, but I should have. I mean, that's perfect with an umbrella poolside under
it really
a palm
takes
tree.
you into the story, and it's when I was writing it, I felt like I was watching a movie in my head, going through with the characters and stuff, because that's how I imagine it when I'm writing, is just put myself in that world.
Right, absolutely. And so that's the other thing, is how she's working through this love triangle thing and the decisions that she has to make. And so I think for a lot of men and women, regardless of what age you're in, if you're in your 20s, you're like, oh gosh, this is helping me navigate my own decision making of what I find acceptable or not in a relationship. And then for us, as we get older, it's like working through, like I said, on the break, this one guy he had everything, but he had a mean streak.
He did, yep.
And it was just so frustrating. I was like, if only you weren't a jerk, you'd be perfect.
And she does have to find that and work through it. No, she does. And her standard, she has to keep to her self-worth and what she knows that she deserves.
Yeah. Saying. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you, Cindy, you have to read now. She's like, she needs to read the book. Okay. So let's see. So I'm going to have to read my own last question because I'm just so caught up. Okay. So now, honestly, yes, as I alluded in the beginning, there are a lot of people, right, that would love to write a book, but they feel like there's just too much is in their way. What advice? Because my advice at the beginning was shut up and write, but that's not nice.
No.
Okay. What is your advice to someone who says to you, wow, that's amazing. How did you do it? I'd love to do it.
Yeah. So being a mom comes with its own struggles. Just to start there.
Yeah.
Now, throw on top of it being a young mom and trying to work and go through school and, you know, the horses and the dogs and all the animals.
Yeah.
There's not really time that you feel like you don't have any time because you're so caught up in everything. But my advice would be just go for it. Just go for it. Just start writing, get that plot on paper, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You can tweak it later.
Yeah.
Do your research, go in, see what you can find, figure it out yourself. You can do it yourself. You don't have to go through these big major publishers. And just start writing. Tell your story. You have time for it. You can follow that passion because it works out and you can do it.
I love that you said you have time for it.
You
Because
have time for it.
people make time for what's important.
Yes.
So you are a mom. Your son is 15 months old?
Yes, 15
okay.
months old.
So you are a mom of a 15-month-old.
Yes.
Okay. So they run around
They do.
without fear of anything, right? So
Yep.
you've got your hands full
Yeah.
until she's got her hands full forever, right? So all kidding aside, it never gets easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you work and you go to school. So you have all of these things going on in your life and you have friends and you have a social life.
Yeah.
And yet,
And we still find time for it.
yeah, you managed to
Because
write a book.
I think the biggest thing is excuses and self-doubt. And that's what I struggled with for the longest time is like, I think this story could be good, but what if people don't like it? And just convince myself out of it.
Yeah.
But just go for it.
Yeah.
To whoever who's listening and you have a book that you want to do, just do it. Because don't make the excuses because it'll work out for you.
Oh, yeah. And you've gotten a lot of reviews already.
I do,
I
yeah.
will still write a review. I haven't done that because I
Yes.
read the book last night, and I will do that for you.
Thank
so
you.
you already have a growing cadre. Is that the right way I'm pronouncing it? Thank you. She's the wordsmith, not me. And there's this growing group of people
Yeah.
that have read your book.
Yes.
And we think it's fantastic.
And I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Every time I get a review, I get so excited because I'm like, oh, they love it. It's not just me because of course I'm going to love it.
yeah.
But I'm so glad and I love all the reviews and social media.
I was just going to say, you are all over social
Yes.
media. So tell everybody what your social media handle is.
It's the same on everything. I have Instagram and TikTok, and it's Poste Author, and that's it. And it's the same for my website too, is ompostauthor.com.
See what she does with that 2-finger thing? So for the last 60 seconds, what would you like to say? I'll say buy her book.
Yes.
What would you like to say?
The same. Buy the book,
Yeah.
read it if you love it. Message me so I could post your reviews, and I want to start a little community and inspire other people.
Yeah, you definitely will create that Facebook
Yes.
group, honestly, because I really envision that as a place. Oh, and then you can also other book clubs. And
Yeah.
you know what? The people that are listening that are part of a book club, go on and buy her book. If you're not here in Vero Beach, buy the book, regardless of what age you are. Oh my goodness. So much fun. They're going to have and you know what? The ladies, if it's like a ladies book
Yeah.
club, oh,
That'll be fun.
it would be fun actually if they even taped some of their meetings and like shared their discussions in your Facebook group.
Would be a great idea. You're full of great ideas.
I'm telling you. So with that, we're gonna just smack Evan and we're gonna hug and kiss Jace and smack him at the same time. We'll
Love-hate
just
relationship.
smack Evan.
Yes.
And thank you so much, Olivia,
Thank
for
you so
being.
much for
this
having
was like
me.
the most fun
So
episode.
much fun.
Oh my goodness! So for everyone that is listening and watching, my name is Ellen Contreras. I'm the host of Treasure Coast Connector. I hope that you buy Olivia's book, Almost. Available Vero Beach Book Center, Cafe Latte Da, Bellini Hair Salon, Bubble House, Big John's Feed in Fort Pierce. And until next week, I miss you already.